How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Where are you?
I'm in DC. I'm at the studio that I work in. Um, and I'm just out here in DC, like right outside of DC, Falls Church, Virginia kind of area.
Right on. Are you doing some work today? What are you up to?
Yeah. I'm working on a record for this band in New York called Cry Spot. Really cool band, punk band. But yeah, it's like very new wavy. It's like very, very fun. It's a lot.
So what's your role in the project? What are you doing?
Oh, I'm producing the band.
Oh, right on. Do you do
Yeah.
that? Do you do that frequently?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I do that more often now than I have in the past, but that's kind of what my day job is now. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Well, we love the album. I seriously, it is such a bright spot in this year, and I feel like you emerged. I was talking to like one of the people, a person in the music industry, and we were talking about like how things changed, and I was like, I feel like albums that are really good, I feel like as a person that programs a radio station, I was like, I wasn't beholden to like acts coming through town and all this other stuff, and like music could stand on its own. And I was like, I pointed to your album and your record. I was like, that Bartees album, like that, it stands on its own, and it is so good that it was allowed to shine this year. And I was really happy about that because I think it's really great.
That is amazing to hear, because I thought a lot about if I was going to put it out.
I'm sure.
Just my little team, like we were like, does this make sense? Like, should we wait? I had the record done for about a year, and
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't sure what to do, but then we were like, you know what? Like, it seems like the calculation was really, a lot of like bigger artists need like a lot of infrastructure to make records. Like They need like a big budget or like a big studio and all these producers and shit. But like, I make everything kind of by myself and with my friends. So I was like, I can keep making shit. Like, I can put this out and I'll just make another record. Like, I'll just make another one, like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
I was like, if it goes well, great. And if not, I'll just have another one ready. So.
Well, I feel like that must have been quite a calculation, because it's like you could release it, and I felt like for a while there wasn't like an appetite for new music, and it's like especially hard if you can't tour, like if you can't like go behind it. That must have been that's quite a calculation. It was quite a decision you made.
Well, I think that's true though for like most artists, like. But the kind of music that I'm trying to make is, like, for example, if you're like a punk band and you put out a record right now, I mean, people expect the punk band to tour. Like, that's how bands sell records. But if you're like a rapper or a DJ or a house producer or like a pop star, you may tour like once every like 9 months.
Yeah.
Like they're dropping like single after single, record after record, and not touring,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fairly normal. So I was like, I don't think this is necessarily a punk record. Like, I like to think of it as like a rock / pop / hip hop thing. Like, I'm going to just, hopefully, like you said, hopefully it can stand on its own, and I'm glad people have
it fucking
reacted
did.
to it. Yeah.
It really popped up. It popped off. It like shit has happened. Bartees, shit has happened. How do you feel about the reception?
Flattered. Like I didn't expect any of it, frankly. I mean, I planned to like, when I put out Say Goodbye to Pretty Boy, that national covers EP, I was like, I want to use this as a way to kind of introduce myself to people.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely didn't think that record was going to go as well as it did, or this one. And, every time I talk to a new person, I'm flattered that people are even hearing it. Every time someone DMs me or I talk to y'all, like, y'all have been so supportive out there. Like, I have like multiple friends from like different areas of life who live in Milwaukee or live in the Midwest who have been like, yo, I heard your shit on the radio. And I'm just like, that's crazy. Like, I made this shit in a barn with like 3 of my best friends. You know, like, it was like it wasn't that deep, you know. And so it's cool. It really is a testament to like what you can do if you're like honest. Like I tried to make something that was just me, you know, like I wasn't trying to do anything or be anybody with it other than myself. And I feel like that's why it worked. Yeah.
That's exactly what I hear when I listen to it. It's like I was listening to it this weekend, and it's like this is not trying to be anything that it's not, you know. It's like, and it's, which to me is a bit counterintuitive because it's so many things, you know. Like it's an album that has so much, but I was like listening to the whole thing, I was like, it's like this it feels honest and it feels real. One reason why I think that it sticks in Milwaukee is because I listened to it and I was like, man, this is some Midwest emo. You know, this sounds like Milwaukee. It sounds like our shit, you know?
That was my shit for a long time.
Yeah, was it? How did you get into that, and who are you into?
Well, I mean, I grew up in Oklahoma, so it wasn't that far, like, you know, in the grand scheme of like middle America rock bands. Like I was like, I mean, I was a humongous, fucking, God damn it, I'm forgetting the name of the band. Urbana, Illinois.
I mean, that's the label. Polyvinyl is the label there.
Gosh, but the band, oh, this is killing me.
You will get it. I'm putting positive energy into your head to remember it.
Well, I'll skip that one. I'm sure I'll remember it.
Sure.
But, you know, bands like Algernon Codwaller, you know, like Joan of Arc, you know, American Football, like, you know, Snowing, like Sam Rudick, like all those little bands, like I was like really into in college, and, you know, was really into like the more like Twinkle Daddy, like kind of thing that was happening, but also was really into like Justin Vernon and like all those Midwest guys. Like it was like a whole other, like more like, you know, I hate to say like, I'm gonna like edit myself. It's like, it's not a more mature sound, but just a more like earthy like sound.
Yeah.
And it was like those two sounds like meant a lot to me as I was like writing music and joining bands and figuring out who I was. And so, you know, like Midwestern rock, Midwestern guitar music has always been something huge for me. And, you know, I was like a really big like country guitar fan before I found that stuff. So I felt like there was like a big connection that happened when I realized like, oh, like all these like Snowing and like American Football and Algernon Codwaller licks feel a lot like Chet Atkins licks. And
interesting.
And like weird country licks that are like sped up or slowed down, like very melodic, all in the key of C, like very much like, you know, the first 4 frets on a fretboard, you know. And so I was able to make that connection, but you know, I love that music for sure.
Yeah. And with that like country vibe, I feel like you're such a good storyteller as well. Like listening to Boomer, like that's the song that we're playing right now, and that is like absolutely one of my favorite songs of the year. And I'm like, man, this has that storytelling element to it that you can't teach that. It's like really difficult. And I was wondering if you could what's the story of Boomer? What's going on in that song?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll start with the song title. Boomer, I went to University of Oklahoma, and you may be aware, but like our big chant is Boomer, Sooner. Like half the team yells Boomer and everyone else yells Sooner, and it's like a whole thing. But the song is really about me like coming into my own. Like my whole life, I kind of grew up in a situation where I wasn't really able to like investigate who I was as a person or the things I was interested in. I kind of had to really like play a part, you know. And when I moved eventually to Brooklyn, it was the first time I lived in a community of people that were like me, and I felt comfortable and I could explore myself and explore who I ultimately wanted to be, like as an adult man, black man in America. And that's what that song is about. Like, and it's like the whole record is kind of about me like questioning myself, like, am I what I think I am? Could I possibly make it? But this is the one song in the record that's like full, like, I'm the shit. Like, like I'm out here doing everything I've ever wanted to do. And I never thought I could, you know. And it was like a realization, you know, like smoking pot with my dad, like living in Brooklyn and like being in a creative community that like was like feeding me and I felt like I could participate in, like realizing that like a day job might not be the only option for me. Like maybe I could make stuff for a living. You know, it was like all these things that I thought were impossible kind of I realized I could do. And so that's what the song's about. Boomer, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. I was just having that conversation today about like when I had like a moment like that when I went to school too, where it was I was able to stop playing that part. You know, I was able to like get out of the small circle and really open up. And for me, I felt like it was finding the right friends. It was like finding people. But what was that about for you in Brooklyn? Like what allowed you to be able to stop playing that part? Because it's like, it's not like, you know, that there's a different part, you know, or
Right.
I mean, at least for me, it was just like, suddenly it was like, wow, I can like step into it. What was that for you?
It was meeting a lot of Black people that were like, you know, a lot of queer Black people or just like super talented Black people who were just like free. Like they weren't scared every day. Like I grew up in a place where, you know, I didn't realize how scared I was every day. You know, like I just had to like play the role, keep my head down, you know, just, you know, yeah, my whole family, you know, there's like an air of like tension always, being like one of the only Black families in a pretty rural setting in Oklahoma. And we're all from the South. So I think that legacy of kind of being afraid of and shit happening that you can't control, kind of like, you know, inserts itself into every aspect of your life.
What?
And so when I moved to Brooklyn, I was just like, oh, like, I'm not scared anymore. You know, like look at all these people that look like me who are doing whatever the hell they want. Like, I don't have to like pretend to be something I'm not. I'm just gonna do me, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was gonna say what affords that freedom, but I think that's it.
Yeah.
In the last line of the album, you say, "Pull up to my job almost on time." What was your job for a while? What was your job before you were like, you know, before you decided to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I had some cool jobs. I worked in the Obama administration as a press secretary for the FCC. I worked on like net neutrality and
Wow.
SOPA, HIPAA, and all that kind of stuff. And eventually started like doing comms for the labor movement. Worked on the Fight for 15 campaign for SEIU as a senior communicator, and then I worked, you know, in the climate movement for the last 5 years doing environmental justice work in like the Deep South and throughout the East Coast. So you know. I've been pretty active, like in the political, you know,
Quite active.
the justice space. But the whole time I was always playing in like 3 or 4 bands and like, you know, making records and playing guitar and, you know, just, you
That
know, that was the thing.
that space is so hierarchical. You know, it is like it's all about like, you know, getting to the next point, getting to the next position. It had to be the temptation to stay in that and not get out of that had to be so real, because it's like you slow down for a second and there is someone right behind you.
Yeah, well, that was pretty funny. You said there's someone right behind you and he was like
he's right there.
But yeah, no, that's true. And I think that's kind of what beat it out of me. Like I when I moved to DC first from Oklahoma, I had really high aspirations of, you know, like ascending quickly and working in the Obama administration and just like that just made my life, you know, like I literally wanted to be Remy Danton from House of Cards. Like that was like what I thought I wanted to do with my life. And that was because I didn't see a pathway for music. Like I had always, you know, my mom's a singer. She's an opera singer. She was a professional musician. And, you know, she never like put pressure on me to do it because I think she knew how hard it was to do. And like the type of like pressure it can put on like a family and, you know, how challenging it can be. And that was kind of my understanding of music was like, if you get to do it, you're lucky, but it's going to take so much out of you and out of your family that it's going to make life so hard. And I just got to the point in my day jobs where I ascended really quickly and I had some really great opportunities and I really hated it. Like I hated myself. I hated who I was becoming. I didn't want to be anybody I was around. nothing inspired me. Like, and I loved the work. Like, I love doing justice work. I believe in labor unions. I believe that climate change is real. I believe in net neutrality. Like, all that's good stuff. But like, personally, like, I wasn't being fed by that work. And I was always making beats in my room at night. Like, I'd get off work, and the first thing I'd be doing was like making beats, playing guitar, recording everything, like, always. And just being like, damn, how could I do this every day? And I just couldn't see the way to do it. And then I moved to Brooklyn, and I was like, oh, like, this is how you do it. You know, and I just started like following bands, playing in more bands. And it just, you know, every year it got a little more serious, like over the last 12 years. And then, you know, all kind of culminated into this fall, really.
Hell yeah, man. That's so good to hear. That's quite a journey. On air, I would like to, I want to know what you're listening to, and I would love to like play a song after this and come out of it. So what's something that you have such a, I asked this question to pretty much everybody, but I was like, what is Bartees gonna say? Dude listens to country, he listens to Midwest emo, he listens to rap. But what's like the last song that you couldn't stop listening to, or that really
oh my god you? I'm gonna find the song title because I don't want to fuck it up, but it's by this guy named Jonathan Couthan, Couthan. 1 second, I gotta find it. When you hear it, you're gonna be like, oh my god, who is this? It's such a huge song. How do you spell this freaking dude's name?
Coathan.
Yeah, Couthan. Couthan.
We got time.
Okay, cool. Oh, Paul Couthan. I'm sorry. Paul and then Cauthen. And the song is Cocaine Country Dancing.
Dude, tell me about this fucking song.
It's insane. I've been getting really into, like, you know, like Sarah Shook and the Disarmers?
Yeah.
Okay, so I love like ghost country, like kind of space country shit. But this guy is like, it's country music, but they're using synthesizers and a lot of like pop things, but not in a corny CMT top 40 way. It's like if like fucking, I don't know, like, it's just actually, no, it's just very good. It's just great taste. Like, you can tell that he listens to a lot of music because it's like he's using words that are like very like modern hip hop slang, but he's bending it into like a 2-step country song with like a pop, very like Michael Jackson, minimal but punchy drum sound, and his voice sounds like Elvis Presley. Like,
hell yeah! I cannot wait to listen to this.
And the hook on this song is so devastatingly good that like I've been spinning it for 2 weeks nonstop. Like, just like, it's the only thing I've listened to for 2 weeks.
This is my dream answer. This is like, I'm always hoping someone like has this answer. You know, like, so many people are like, oh, I don't know. And I understand that because it's a lot of pressure, but like, this is my shit. I feel like that's super hard for country because country wants to be, it wants to be a tad regressive, you know? It like,
Always.
It always works better looking behind, but it's like the best shit is pushing it forward, but it's so hard to push that genre forward, but it's such a good one.
Well, you know what else is like that? Rock music.
Yeah. Exactly. You know? Exactly.
Like, guitar-based music is a weird thing. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's moving. It's like, what is it? It's like space. It's contracting and expanding at the same time. It's like, it's hilarious. Like, you know, people have said some insane shit to me about the record I put out. Like, I've just been like, man, you're overthinking it. It's just a good, you know,
like what? Like what's some insane
They're
shit?
Just like, what's it like to be a black man making rock music with pop hooks and hip hop drums? I'm like, I just listen to music. Like, do you listen to music? Does music inspire you? Like, do you want to do the things you hear? You know, like, I'm just doing the things that I hear, you know? But anyways, yeah, Paul Coughlin, I highly recommend that guy. He's out of control. Like different world, man. Really good stuff.
I can't wait to
My
listen.
girlfriend introduced me to it. She was like, "Have you heard this guy?" I was like, "No, I have not." Wow.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. That's the whole thing.